going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Viall Files. I'm your host, Nick, joined by a bunch of people these days. Chrissy, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
So wonderful. And we have the gals in the social syndicate here, Allie and Amanda in studio. Don't have some mics. They're just crushing it over there. We have a great episode for you.
I'm super excited about this episode because I'm invested.
Bling Empire. For those of you not familiar with Bling Empire, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and turn on the old Netflix. It's streaming now. If you've enjoyed the movie Crazy Rich Asians, you will love Bling Empire. It's based off that movie. And I got to say, really, I binged right through it. I watched all the episodes in a day. So.
I did the same thing. It was like so good. It's kind of got like that like sunset. What was the Chriselle's one? Selling Sunset kind of like production vibes to it.
Yeah.
But like the drama of like a Bravo TV show. I don't know. I'm invested. I loved it.
Well, anywho, one of the stars of that show, Kelly Me Lee, is with us today to talk about the show, how it all began, a little bit more about her, a little background story about her original ex-husband who is like a criminal mastermind that they just kind of brushed over. So we learned more about that. Her relationship with Drew, who I wasn't a huge fan of, but we find out what's going on with her and Drew. We asked some questions, and Kelly was really fun to talk to, and I really enjoyed it. Well, but before we get to Kelly, quick reminder, we got some fun new merch out there at viallfiles.com. Follow us on social. We're, Instagram, doing some great things on there.
Your TikTok.
Yeah, we're making TikToks. Matt James isn't the only one doing TikToks. Esther Pavinsky is back with us on the Viall Files on Monday to help with an Ask Nick episode. You won't want to miss that. She crushes it. We give some juicy details about people's lives, and we can't wait for you to check that out. Subscribe, review, sending your questions at AskNick@castme.com, cast with a K. And if there's nothing else, Kelly, me, Lee. Well, again, welcome. We are excited to have you. We have all been watching Bling Empire on Netflix.
Good.
Have you been feeling the groundswell of interest with the show? It's, with the Netflix, when they drop something and then it picks up steam, it's kind of like going from 0 to 100. What's that been like?
It's been really overwhelming. There's been a lot of support and love from press and fans. So I'm just getting used to it. The other day they were like, what about when you go out? Do people recognize you? I'm like, I haven't left my house.
Yeah.
I'm like, I walk my dogs in a quiet neighborhood and that's it. So I've been doing a lot of Zoom interviews. So this is my first in person and I'm so excited to have
Just get
people
out of the
around.
house.
Yeah.
Are you a little bummed about that? Like all of a sudden you're on this new hit show and, it's fun to go out and see a little bit of excitement come your way. But since we're in a pandemic, you don't get to fully experience that, or
It's
a bummer?
A little bit, because I'm like, I want to go on a carpet, I want to see people, I want to feel the energy, but at the same time I'm like, I'm kind of comfortable doing my Zoom interviews, and I'm like, I don't even got to dress up like up, and I'm like, down I can just wear my pajamas. So that's been the good thing.
This show obviously was based off the movie Crazy Rich Asians, or kind of at least inspired by it. When you saw that movie, I'm assuming you saw the movie?
I did, yeah.
What did you think? I mean, I thought it was great. I loved it. It was and I think a lot of people, especially the average boring white guy, was like, oh, what a, I didn't know a lot about that culture, or
right.
And I think I saw an interview, you mentioned just how underrepresented just overall just the Asian community is in kind of at least American entertainment.
Yeah.
Is that something that when watching it was inspiring or exciting? What was that like for you?
Absolutely. I'm just proud and inspired. And, I read the book Crazy Rich Asians when Nina Jacobson first bought the rights for the book. And when I read the book, I'm like, oh my God, these are all fictional characters, my friends. So that's when we started developing the project, and, seeing Crazy Rich Asian and how well it's done. It's just amazing. And hopefully with, Bling Empire, we can add another barrier for the underrepresented Asian community.
And I know like your story is unique because there's a lot of the characters in Bling Empire come from this kind of generational wealth.
Right.
That, the doctor, the dynasty, like he would be an emperor, right?
Yep.
And then, but you are a little different, right?
Yes.
You came when you were younger. You moved to Chicago with your mother.
Right.
Your father originally came out here but couldn't find work.
He originally came out here, and then, you know, as immigrants, when we came from mainland China, when you talk about family money, is 2 generations, because during the Mao era, they kind of cleaned everybody out. So when we came out here, my mom, you know, she did anti-cancer research at UIC, but she also worked 2 other jobs. My dad had come out here to wash carpets and do this kind of odd job. So as a man, his ego couldn't take it. So he's like, I'm going to go back to my high position job in China. I'll be back. And he never came back. So my mom stayed out here. She wanted me to have a better opportunity and better educations. So yeah, I have everything to thank my mom for.
Wow. Do you communicate with your father at all still?
Not too much. You know, we didn't talk for 10 something years. And then about, I would say like 7 or 8 years ago, we kind of, you know, met up and, you know, chit chatted. But at this, you know, it's so hard to catch up 10 years of your, you know, your past. And also there's a little bit of a language barrier as well, because, you know, my Mandarin, I can still speak it, but it's not as good as before. And he doesn't really speak English. So we kind of just left it there. He has a new family. And that impacted me as much as I didn't realize, but that later on when I started doing a lot of self-discovery, that impacted me a lot, you know, of who I was, that I'm hopefully changing right now.
You opened up the show talking about that you were previously married in a different life, and you mentioned how your ex-husband was arrested for like embezzlement or something, and then the show just kind of moved on, which I guess I get, but I'm watching it being like, what? Yep. Like, what was that like? Can you give us a little bit more detail on what the hell was going on? And I mean, I can't imagine being married to someone.
Yep.
Was it like you just found this all out like in one day did you wake up and realize, holy shit?
It was pretty crazy. Oh my goodness. That was such a wild time of my life. I'll give you kind of the shorter version. I met him when I was 21. He was 20. And then we were just friends. And then fast forward, we got married. I was 24. He was 23 years old. He was extremely successful. I really respected him at that time because he was an immigrant like me. He's self-made. He made his first million at 18 years old. And so we got married and, you know, lived a great life. But at the same time, there was a lot of disconnect. So eventually, I think about 3 years down the road, we realized it's not working out. So we were separated. We were living 2 separate households. I was spending most of my time doing philanthropist work at the time. So I remember I just got back from Guatemala and there was a knock on my door. It was a Friday at 4 p.m. and they were looking for him. And I was like, oh, he doesn't live here. I'm like, who are you?
Being like the FBI?
Well, it was the FTC. So I didn't know what the FTC was, the Federal Trade Commissioner. Okay. And then so that was Friday at 4 p.m. And then next thing you know, all of our accounts were frozen. So at the time, we haven't separated our financials.
You hadn't?
We have not. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have access to his account because I just didn't care. I made my own money at the time as well. So I was like, whatever. But, you know, and then like a week later, my credit card stopped working at the gas station, you know. And then, you know, at that time, we were spending a lot of money on our Black Max, and it was like, I think it was about $400K, $500K a month. So all of a sudden you're like, okay, my credit card stopped working. What's going on? So at that time I was learning as I was going as well, where he was auto subscribing people. So I don't know if you guys remember back in the day when cell phone first come out, you'll find a $9.99 charge on your cell phone bill and you kind of forget about it. You don't really look at it. But when you have to call in, they'll cancel it for you. Sometimes they will refund you. I have no idea. But so he was, I guess, the brain behind that. It was a pretty big operation where there were people from, you know, Asia and Australia involved.
So he was just able to charge people $10, like anyone who had a cell phone?
Yeah, he got like he was auto subscribing people. So I was learning about that because I was reading some stuff online, and it was something about like he was promising people, like first I think was a different one that was on the web where he was promising people like Justin Bieber tickets. So you have to enter your information, and then he was maybe charging people. So I still don't have
like a chance to win or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And then and like the T's and C's, it would like auto
subscribe people.
Wow.
So fast forward, we end up settling for $168 million. So all of our houses, you know, in Chicago
with the
FTC. So, and that was not the end of it.
By settling, you're just like, we owe you 168.
Yeah. I know I think he got like, at the beginning, I think he got a lot of lawyers on board because I let him borrow some money. My mom let him borrow some money for legal fees. because we didn't know what was going on, but it's family, still. And yeah, and then afterwards, all my jewelry, like we were one of the top buyers at Tiffany's at the time, so like millions of dollars of jewelry gave back. 6 cars, I think, in houses in Chicago, here, kind of all over. So it was weird. And then so we're like, okay, well, this is over. Let's get back. Get back. We finalized our divorce. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna move forward with my life. And the sucky thing also was that the time I was married, the money I was making had to, go too.
It got looped in.
It got looped in, so it was a little crazy.
So you went from being wealthy to broke?
To pretty much broke and starting over. And then I think about,
how old were you?
I was 27 at the time, maybe.
Nick, why are you licking your fingers? What are you doing over there?
I'm eating a donut.
Amazing.
Did you know that eating better and feeling better, understanding cravings, knowing how to shop, knowing no food is bad, not even this delicious donut. I can do whatever I want because I have Noom to guide me, to keep me in range of my goals, right?
Yeah.
Balance is key, especially when it comes to your fitness and health goals. And Noom is there to give us the tools that we need. The psychology of eating, know how to curb your cravings. I crave a donut from time to time. I'm eating one right now, but that's okay. It's fine. I got Noom to keep me in check, to let me know how to balance out my cravings and the things I put in my body so that I can meet my wellness goals. I feel better. I look good. 10 minutes a day, that's all it takes. Noom is there. They give me the information I need to make educated choices about my health and diet. Based in psychology, Noom teaches you why you make the choices you do. It gives you the tools to replace your habits with healthier ones. Noom's cognitive behavioral approach means you're not losing weight, you're building the habits to help keep the weight off. Noom is forgiving because you're human. Don't I know it? If you go off track today, donut, you'll be back on track tomorrow. Everyone is busy. That's why Noom doesn't demand much of your time, only 10 minutes a day. And over 80% of Noomers finish the program, and over 60% have stuck with their goals for the least 1 year. Oh, great. There is a science to getting healthier. It's called Noom. Sign up for your trial today at noom.com/VIALL. Ready to learn how to live healthier? Sign up for Noom today at noom.com/VIALL. Well, Valentine's Day is around the corner, and I don't know what you have planned, but either way, make sure that you get some. And you can get some even without a Valentine's in your life because you have Adam and Eve. That's right. Adam and Eve is spicing up your Valentine's Day with all the sex toys and movies to get you in the mood without having to, cook anyone dinner, which is a dream. I recently learned about the fleshlight. Apparently, the best blowjob on the internet.
I mean, something for him, something for her, something for you both.
Yeah.
They got it all.
Next time your boyfriend asks for a blowjob and you're just not in the mood, just hand him the fleshlight. Just be like, here you go.
I mean,
Happy Valentine's Day. Free stuff is the best. That's right. Not having to pay for sex. Free stuff that will ignite your Valentine's Day is even better. Free stuff is the best, but free stuff that will ignite your Valentine's is even better. Check this out. When you go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item, you'll get 50% off. That's amazing by itself, but here's what they load on the free stuff. Here's what they load on the free stuff. When you enter my exclusive code at checkout, VIALL, not only do you get 50% off the one item, you'll get 10 tantalizing free items. First, for your viewing pleasure, 6 free movies. And by movies, I mean people fucking.
No, I'm doing Friday night.
A free mystery pack that includes an item for him, a special toy for her, and something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus free shipping. Well, if getting off isn't a reason, not having to pay for shipping. But in all seriousness, sex toys are a great addition to the bedroom in a romantic relationship. It can help spice things up. It can help get your partner stimulated and ready for all the things you're willing to bring to the bedroom. Sometimes it takes more than one tool to get the job done. And when that's the case, Adam and Eve is here for you for all the sex toys that you can possibly need to get your partner off and feel like a hero. So head over to adamandeve.com and be sure to use offer code VIALL. Again, that is VIALL, because without it, there will be no free Valentine stuff. And you have to do all the work on your own, which is hard. That's VIALL at adamandeve.com. Wow. At any point were the FTC investigating you because you were married, being like, what did you know, if anything, about this?
Yeah. So no, they did not. But however, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe a month out afterwards, he was on a trip with his girlfriend, coming back from, I don't know, Mexico or something, wherever. And then the FBI got him. So they got charged criminally afterwards. And then they did speak. I actually volunteered to speak to me, so I had anything to do with it.
So is he like still in jail now?
No, it's actually, the sentencing's not out yet. So it's gonna be this year.
How long ago was this?
This is a while ago, but it's a huge case.
So he's just been kind of like hanging out, waiting to be sentenced? Yeah,
and I think I got delayed because of COVID, but we don't talk anymore, so I don't really know a lot of the updates. But as far as I know, I don't think he's.
That is
a
crazy story. I can't believe it was a blip.
It was crazy. It was yeah, and then build myself back up, and end of the day, like.
And you haven't heard from him since all of a sudden this show's.
I have not heard from him. I know that a lot of press has picked up and kind of dig a little bit deeper and found some court papers, and they've been writing about it. But I kind of tried to not read it.
Good for you for picking yourself back up. I mean, a lot of people, you lose that kind of wealth, you lose a lot of perspective, and I mean, again, I can't imagine. You just said like you were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. What was that like? I mean, what was that like the next day to be like, well, I guess Taco Bell for lunch, or
right, ramen noodle for the rest of my life,
for jewelry,
right? Exactly, right, or Claire's or one of those.
Boutique.
Yep.
Like you go into Aldo and buy jewelry all of a sudden.
Yep. Exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong, but I mean, again,
nothing wrong with it. No shame.
I've done it, but
but it's not
affordable.
It's
affordable.
No, exactly. So it was definitely a change, and during that time, I felt like I dealt with stress pretty well, but subconsciously I was going through a little bit of memory loss. I had to go see a doctor for, and then downgrading was a whole nother process. I was like, okay, I got a smaller place, and then I think I was at like 25,000 a month for my expense. I was like, oh, I'm doing great, I'm like, this is great. And then after a couple months, I'm like, okay, I gotta downsize even more, but end of the day, I think I'm an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is ups and downs, and you gotta ride that wave, and true entrepreneur, you can always come back up.
Yeah. What are you working on now from an entrepreneurial standpoint? Or like what, I guess, what is, if I meet you in an elevator, it's just like, hey, Kelly,
okay.
What do you do? What do you say?
Right now, my main focus, I have a import-export merchandising company. So that one's been running about 7 years. It kind of runs itself. I just started my new production company this year. It's called Web Pause Media. And we are, just doing a lot of really great projects. I love true stories. I had a movie called Echo Boomers, came out in November. That one was Michael Shannon, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Alex Piffer. And then one of my TV shows called Cypher that got launched internationally, and it hit #1 on Netflix for like 3 weeks in a row in some of the countries. And we're launching a different platform spring this year in the U.S. And then I shot a feature in COVID, which was not fun, but we're in post-production for that. And then I have a music documentary that I'm in finishing wrapping up right now, and then I'm going to pre-production on another project with Aaron Eckhart, Terrence Howard in March this year. So
wow.
So yeah, it's been fun. It's been really exciting.
You've always been a very kind of motivated person. Like, how'd you get into all this? Like,
I have no idea.
You grew up in the Midwest in Chicago.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think.
I feel like such a loser.
No, not at all. Come on. You have this amazing podcast,
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you do?
And now and now that you know her, you can star in one of her movies next to Aaron Eckhart. So dreams
there
are
you
coming
go.
true.
Yeah. There you go.
I just want to go to a Chinese New Year party. That's really my goal.
I'm so bummed this year is COVID, but next year you're invited for sure.
Can I come next year?
Next year.
It sounds like it looks
everybody's
like a blast.
invited. It'll be fun. It's such a blast. Chinese New Year is really, we go all out.
Function of beauty. Wow, Chrissy, it sounds like you recently had a fabulous experience with our friends at Function of Beauty. Tell us your story.
I love Function of Beauty. The shampoo is amazing. That's what I use the most. And you go online, you fill out a survey, you can pick your color, you can pick your scent, you can pick if you need it for dry hair, for curls, whatever you need. And they like gave us some for the show because we talk about them, and I ran out. And so I went to go order with our promo code. It's now coming here to my home so I can get my beautiful hair in Montana as well when I don't have the services of a salon nearby.
And Function of Beauty has over 50,000 5-star reviews, so you don't even have to take Chrissy's word for it, and she won't shut up about it. Every ingredient Function of Beauty uses is vegan and cruelty-free, and they never use sulfates or parabens. You can also go completely silicone-free, unless you're using Adam and Eve products.
And the best part about it is if more than one people in your house order it, they put your name on the bottle. So you know which formula is for you and which formula is for your partner.
Never buy off the shelf just to be disappointed ever again. Go to functionofbeauty.com/VIALL to take your quiz and save 20% off your first order. That applies to their full range of customized hair, skin, and body products. Go to functionofbeauty.com/VIALL to let them know we sent you and get 20% off your order. functionofbeauty.com/VIALL. So then you guys got together, you and your friends. And so your friend group on Bling Empire, these have all been your friends for some time. At least.
Yeah. I would say, you know, I know King and Christine the longest. I've known Christine for over 10 years. And King, I've been saying almost 10 years, but he just corrected me yesterday. He said, I've only known him for 8 years. So, and then, you know, I've known them the longest. And then Cherie probably after. Couple of the people like Kevin and Anna are more like newer friends. Anna was introduced by Jeff Jenkins, who's my producing partner, the EP for Bling Empire. And then Kevin, we kind of not cast it in a sense where we were looking for like a single good looking Asian guy, and we looked at a lot of people. And then I saw him doing I think TEDx talk and the Huffington Post, and then I reached out, but he was living the East Coast at the time, and a friend of us, a mutual friend, introduced us, and he's like, "Oh, I can move out to LA." So he came out, but we all got to hang out for about like a good year and a half before we started shooting. So everybody kind of was very comfortable with each other, and everybody's still friends nowadays and talk a lot.
Let's talk about Drew.
Okay.
Yes, please.
The big elephant in the room. Let's talk about you.
Well, I mean, I'm watching it. In the beginning of the show, you introduced him as your boyfriend, and then he had one of his many temper tantrums. Like what's up with Drew?
You know, back then it was definitely a really difficult time of our relationship. We were going through a really rocky road. You know, I'm not giving excuses for the behavior from before, but he impressed me so much, inspired me so much after the show. We took about 6 months apart. We broke up after, you know, the show, and we didn't have a plan to come back or anything like that. I spent the time really working on myself and dig deeper, because at the end of the day, relationship takes two to work. So I have my issues for staying in that relationship, you know, and then vice versa. So after the 6 month, we've been kind of spending time together again, and he's been a completely different person.
So you guys are back together.
We're back together. We're working things out. Because now he even days. No, Chrissy's like, no.
I'm having a heart attack right now, Kelly.
I mean, yeah,
I'm so invested.
we're a little blown away. I was watching it. He was screaming. You know.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers have a troubled past.
You know what? It is at the end of the day for me. I want to look beneath the surface, right? Let's dig deeper, right? Because we're in a instant gratification kind of society. We're in a society right now that people like to be around when times are good, and when times are hard, they kind of like to leave. Relationship takes work. It takes as much work as our regular work, and have to work on it every single day if you want to be with that person. You know, Drew obviously had a really bad childhood, and we grew up very differently. Our culture's very different. But end of the day, he's willing to work on himself, and he's willing to break the generation trauma that his parents passed on to him, and then his parents passed on, his grandparents passed on his parents. So a lot of time, a lot of our stuff is from childhood, and it's really not our fault as long as we're willing to work on it. And I'm doing the same thing myself too, for sure. Huh?
He does. He hasn't yelled at you recently.
He has not yelled at me, and he, it's funny things that he's been calming me down sometimes when we're having a disagreement. I get really passionate. He's like, okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's, check our tones and check our volume. And do you need a break, so we can continue? Do you want to have a little off time before we continue? So he's been really respectful. And I've also learned to set healthy boundaries because I didn't know how to do that.
How long ago did you guys film Bling Empire? Because it was before COVID, right?
Yeah, Paris was end of 2018. So that was almost 2.5 years ago. Okay. And and then rest of it was filmed in 2019.
How has it been for him? Because again, like for people watching it, it doesn't come across great.
Yep.
For him, we're all watching it and be like, golly,
yeah,
no. Has that brought up old wounds?
For sure. I mean, it was difficult to watch. We watched it first time together because I want to make sure we're next to each other when we watch it. And I mean, I was just like holding on him. I was sweating. I was like the sweaty palms, like you're really nervous. And then I had to pause a couple of times just to make sure he's okay. It was definitely difficult to watch. But for me, I feel like I'm like, hey, let's look at our past. Like how far we've came from that person, before to now. He's definitely got hit pretty bad on social media,
It was so extreme that, and I come from the reality TV world, you always get a lot of questions of reality. Like, right. How real is it? And that was so kind of outrageous that you're like, there's no way this guy's going to show up on this show and be this much of an asshole to a woman in the year 2020. And yet, but he was just mad.
You know what? There's a lot of things. You know how reality TV works. They trim a lot of things down. So, like, let's say, for example, one of our therapy sessions is 3 hours, but they trim down to really short, as well as, our talk after in the hotel room that got trimmed down significantly as well. Sure. So, it
was just more the yelling.
Like they didn't trim down the yelling, I'm assuming.
The yelling did not get trimmed down.
And even if you were for 3 hours poking him, it was aggressive.
Yeah, no, the yelling that definitely was, was real. But I'm not, again, no, but same time, it's just from trauma. It's from, he had a lot of abandonment issues growing up, an abusive and alcoholic, dad and all that stuff. So
we talk a lot about relationships on the podcast, and so it sounds like you guys are in a good place right now, and that's great. But if a woman came to you and said, "Hey, I've watched this show and I feel like I was in a similar situation," mm-hmm. You even mentioned kind of how toxic the relationship was. What are some things that you feel like you've learned? I mean, like even in a situation where someone's dating someone who has a troubled past, right, or their parents are an influence, like, where did you draw the line between, all right, I understand where this is coming from, but it gets to a place where either way, I need to see some real growth and change, because at some point we just can't keep blaming, our past.
100%.
You can't keep blaming, like your dad left and started a new family, but you've decided to, control your own destiny. Like, what advice would you give to other women who find themselves in positions like you were?
Right, absolutely. And one of the things that's been really crazy and mind-blowing for me is that how many women has reached out through my DM, and some of them, they write really long stories about past relationship they were in, as well as relationship they're currently in. There's also people who are still married for 20, 30 years, have kids together, and they're in a abusive relationship. I can't compare my relationship with them because, Drew's never, physically hurt me or anything like that. But, mental abuse is important. How do you break that cycle? We broke that cycle by taking time apart. We were, he moved out in the show, and afterwards we completely broke up and we didn't have any contact. And it's really about how much do you want it, and when you work on yourself, I think that's most important. Instead of being codependent on the other person, take that time off, focus on yourself, be the best version of yourself. We can't point fingers, because there's a reason for two people to stay in a relationship like that. I think, again, just that both sides have to willing to put in the work to be a better version of themselves and really dig deeper and go into therapy. Therapy works. There's a big stigma in especially in the Asian community and Asian culture, huge stigma in therapy and mental health. but there's nothing wrong with it. Therapy works, and it really helped me. So again, I think just let's break the cycle, take some alone time. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to get out sometimes. I know I have friends who's been in a relationship similar where relationship that's abusive, where they couldn't even leave, and they had to pack their bag in the middle of the night to leave. So, I'm not in that position to comment on that, but yeah, just take time off, get away, and focus on yourself. It's meant to be, it will be that, but that person has to put in the work and really show the work and that, action.
What did your friends think, or your mom, when you guys got back together? Because they seemed to be thrilled when you guys broke up.
Drew's been around King, Anna since the show wrapped. Cherie, I think, I don't know, actually no, I think they spoke on the phone, but they haven't been around. They definitely see a change, they say they see more stability, and we just have to, keep showing them that this is for real and this is gonna last. But end of the day, it's my life.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
With you and Drew breaking up, Kevin was like this. It seemed like, okay, Drew was going to be this relationship that you started the show in, and then you guys were going to break up, and then the real romance of the show was going to be you and Kevin. And that didn't, like, it seemed like Kevin was really into you, but like you even said, you very much treated him like, yeah, he's like a brother. Were you never really interested? Like, how interested was Kevin? How was Drew about that? Like, do Drew and Kevin ever talk? Is there some jealousy there since you ended up going back to Drew? Like, what is that like? Does Drew have a problem with Kevin knowing that he tried to get with you? What's going on there?
I think, at that time, it was just, the timing was way too fast. Me and Drew just broke up. We were in a 5-year relationship, and I was like, I mentally, I was not ready, to date. And then Kevin, again, I've only seen him as a brother. So, I don't believe they've spoke after the show wrapped. I think we're doing like a little social distance, like get together this weekend. Everybody gets tested beforehand. So we'll see how that goes. Drew was obviously a little taken back that Kevin asked me out so quick afterwards.
Did he know? Like, I guess, how much did you even know that Kevin was interested in dating you until he asked?
I wasn't I didn't really know, because Kevin's a very flirty person. He flirts with everybody, and that's just his personality, and that's why he's so lovable, right? And so for me, I didn't think it. I just kind of was like, so I didn't know till he asked me. Yeah, but I'm gonna throw one thing out. I think Kevin and Kim will make a really great couple, just because they already they fight and they bicker like married couple already. So I feel like they should just take the next step.
I also curious for the women in this room. I didn't think pancakes were as great as Kevin thought. And I was just like, Kevin, it's not the pancakes, it's your face. Like, that's why he's like, it works every time. I'm like, because they want to have sex with you, and they're just like, it doesn't matter. And the only thing Kevin has right is just like, he asks women on a date, he makes them pancakes, and then so then the women who want to hook up with Kevin, they're gonna be like, he cooked for me. And then immediately they're
but also, like, no girl wants to eat a bunch of carbs and then.
That's what I'm saying. I was just like, you eat a bunch of carbs.
No, like, maybe have the carbs after.
Yeah.
But no girl's like, oh, this is
like,
so great. I'm so full of carbs. Let's do it.
Maybe the pancakes are really
delicious, and it's hard to eat just one. So you don't just have like you don't have a short stack, and immediately like you're already filled up with carbs. You don't like how can you take some more? How can you take some dick? It's like it's hard.
Maybe it gives you energy. I have no idea.
And I'm just like, Kevin,
what are they, protein pancakes now? Kelly's like, no, they've got.
It's not the pancakes, Kevin. It's your face.
Dude,
he's like,
his face or his abs. I don't know.
He's a good-looking guy. Kevin's going around there like, pancakes are so good. I'm like, no, it's your face. I don't know, but did he try to make you pancakes?
He did not try to make me pancakes. I don't know if Kevin's a good cook or not, because I just didn't see him as a good cook. So no, I never got pancakes.
I would love it if it's just like he just pulls out a box of Bisquick.
Right,
like, that's his pancake recipe.
I make pancakes from scratch. I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. It's pretty easy.
Well, you're impressive, Nicholas.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest thing anyone can make. There's no reason to.
But
buy
that would be
Bisquick.
like awesome if he was like, "Come over to my house. I'm gonna make you pancakes," and he just pulls out the Bisquick.
There's a 70% chance that's what's going on.
I think so too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Gotta find that out.
Can Drew cook?
Drew's an amazing cook. I don't cook at all. That's one thing that I'm really not good at. I'm really good at eating, and I'm really good at ordering Postmate, but I'm not really good at cooking. Drew is an amazing cook.
What happens if you don't like his cooking?
I actually have never had a dish I didn't like yet. So we'll see.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Nick's
never.
like waiting for your answer to be like, he throws it at the wall.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, I was just beating up on Drew a little bit, but it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch, but I'm glad you're happy.
Thank you.
Do you guys still is therapy for you guys an ongoing thing?
So we haven't started couple therapy yet. I got him on this program that I've been going to. So once he finishes his portion, we'll do couple therapy after. We're still living separately.
So he's doing his own therapy.
He's doing his own therapy. I'm doing my
that's
own.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
When you guys were going on the show, it was like immediately you guys went to couple therapy, and again, I'm not a therapist, but I was just like, I feel like this guy has like work to do on his own before you can address the relationship.
Exactly. You can't pour from an empty glass. You just gotta be. You have to be the best version of yourself for the other partner. Yeah.
Well, he's very pretty.
Oh,
he does have that going for him.
Thank you.
Are you living together again?
We're not living together. We're still living separate.
Good
We're taking things slow because at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, if we're gonna be together for the rest of our life, for the next, how many ever years, 60 years, why rush?
Are you guys planning on? Is there going to? I mean, it's been successful. I assume that Netflix is already talking about season 2.
They haven't given us the official yes yet, so fingers crossed.
Will Drew want to be a part of it after this rough ride?
That's really up to him. Yeah.
What's your gut tell you?
I think he will be. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, because again, I will love the audience to see the loving side of him, the side that's so loving and kind.
The redemption story.
I would really love the audience to see that part of him. But that's completely up to him.
How'd you guys meet?
We met at a friend's birthday party, actually. I think he was about to leave. I walked in and he says, "Okay, I'm gonna stay longer." And then he asked me out. I think a week later, he asked me out. Yeah, a week later, and then just been since.
Paris was a big topic on
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to Paris a lot, or did you? What is that like? Are people still going to Paris from the States with COVID? How's that all work?
Right now everybody stopped traveling. Paris, I didn't go as much as Anna went to Paris probably like 2-3 times a month. I think one of the lines I said in the shows, I was like, Anna goes to Paris more time than she goes to Silver Lake, which is completely true.
I actually quite appreciated that joke. But then you guys were like in Silver Lake. Isn't that bowling alley in Silver Lake that you guys went to?
But she wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
And I wasn't there either. Yeah. That was in Highland Park.
Highland Park. Yeah,
Yep.
I've been to that bowling alley.
Beautiful
it's nice,
bowling. Yeah, LA.
Good pizza there.
Oh, I actually
If you
never
guys
had
were-
pizza there. I'm gonna try that.
How are their pancakes?
They have pancakes there.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I did that was funny. It
Yeah.
was funny.
No, I mean-
and I also believed it too.
The pancake?
No, that she had probably been to Paris more than Silver Lake.
100%.
Just
100%.
Yeah.
But going to Paris with Anna was a completely different experience. One of the things they left out on the show, which I wish they put it in, but I guess didn't move the story forward. Anna, as a surprise for my birthday, shut down the Palace of Versailles. And we had a completely private tour. Drew did a split in the middle of the Hall of Mirror. So we were running around, and it was amazing. We visited that there's a theater there, and upstairs Louis XIII will have a side room where he has all his mistress, and he has during the intermission of the play, he will go up there and do his naughty things. So we get a visit there, and then just hear the stories, and it was amazing.
Wow. Why was there brief nudity in this season? I've never seen that on a reality TV show. It's like, oh, it's a boob.
I have no idea. I actually heard about that scene afterwards. But it's just Anna. Anna lives in her own world, and she owns up to it. And I always say, I'm like, hey, it's Anna's world. We're all just living in it.
Was that like Anna being like, I want the boob in there? Because
no,
I mean, people get naked all the time filming reality TV. They just don't put it on the show.
I
was kind of blown away.
I think it's just
Maybe
her.
Kevin's reaction was so good to it, though. That's why they kept it in. It was amazing.
Maybe,
but they didn't black box it or blur it out. It was wild.
It's Netflix.
I guess the benefit.
Netflix.
I know.
You have
No,
to.
I get it.
Yeah.
I guess it's a whole new world. Maybe is that Netflix being like, hey, we don't have to block black box anything.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Kevin's butt running, in the beat on the sand too, in the ocean.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
I mean, get
Maybe
ready for
there's-
season 2.
maybe
Too hot to
there's-
handle.
Yeah, maybe there's some frontal going on in season 2.
Well, yeah. I mean, so in terms of like just the show, do you feel like were you happy with how everyone was represented? Not, obviously we talked a lot about Drew and yourself, but just how did you feel like Netflix did, or just the production of it all in terms of how your friend group was represented, and like in terms of the comparisons to the movie? Were you happy with it? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I watched the show, I knew it was going to be good, but it went beyond my expectation, to be honest. I thought it was so well put together. It was a very well done reality show. Obviously, the representation wise, you can only fit in so much for 8 episodes. So, of course, they want you to see a certain side of that person. And that they will focus on that side. But hopefully we'll get other seasons, and we'll just keep expanding the narrative on different characters and all of our personality. So yeah, but so far, I mean, I thought they did a phenomenal job. And I'm really happy how well it's doing.
Who are you closest with of the group? Like, who would you call in a crisis?
I'm probably still closest with King. And I've been closest with King since the beginning. So yeah,
He's so magical.
King is just
Like
King.
he seems like just a magical, happy-go-lucky person. His shoe wall, who has a shoe wall when you walk into your apartment? First
Right.
of all, that was amazing. Second of all, the massage chair, also amazing. That
Oh,
just
that
randomly
massage is
sitting
great.
there.
Yep.
But like the shoe wall, I was like, wait, there's not, like, he has to put it in his living room because he's got that many shoes.
That's in his living
Like
room?
the kitchen's like right there. Next
Yeah.
To the massage. Like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah, so King had a bigger house up in Mount Olympic before he moved into his apartment, and his shoe was in a whole room by itself. And he got into it a little bit with his parents, and he was like, I want to make it myself. I'm gonna blah blah. So he moved into that apartment. So there really is no bigger. Just you can't fit those shoes in one room. So he just put it in his living room.
Was he cut off, or did his family cut him off, or did he cut himself off?
I don't know the details. So
On
yeah.
the show, he says there was an allowance or something, right? I thought he said on the show that he.
Well,
gets
yeah,
an allowance.
and then who was the butt thing going on? She was the one
yeah.
on the
Jamie. Yeah.
That's Jamie.
Jamie's the youngest cast member on our show. I think she just turned. I met her when she was 20, so she must be like 23 now, I'm guessing. But yeah, Jamie's just she just wants to be an influencer. She's just all she does is shopping. Just the shopping and photo shoots. Good for her.
And King, what is he doing? Is he still cut off, or is he?
No, I think his
in the good
parents are
graces?
really happy with him now. He's doing a lot of more like real estate development. So they buy kind of rundown houses and push it down. And
Will we ever get to meet his parents? Because I would.
that one's gonna be iffy. His parents are awesome. Oh my goodness, his parents are just so loving and just awesome people. But he has two brothers. Just the chance of them coming on a show is gonna be pretty small. But maybe in like 5th season.
Are they like super conservative or traditional?
They're very private.
Okay.
Yeah. Letting him do that show was a whole other challenge. So, but his parents
really?
because his parents didn't, at the beginning. This is at the very beginning. Of course, they want to. The Asian culture is keep it low key, keep everything kind of private. So yeah. And his parents also, if you see them on the street, you can't tell them they're billionaires. His dad is always so casually dressed, just very humble people.
But King, he's not exactly not showing.
He's a little bit flashier, than his parents. He got a lot better.
He's not noticeable.
Yeah, but back then, like I don't know if he still does, but back then we used to go to Soul Cycle classes at the beginning, and I'm like, King, you have like over $1 million of jewelry just on you at Soul Cycle,
Does he really?
Yeah.
I would like to hang out with
Please.
King.
Yeah, King's
Me
awesome.
too.
King's awesome.
But you see that like Asian culture dynamic, like what you're talking about, kind of seems like it came into like Christine's relationship a lot on the show, like with her husband's family.
Yeah, Christine's definitely when it comes to family money and family wealth, there's a lot of restriction. That's why
In terms of like we have the money, like restrictions and
restrictions.
Is it like dangling a carrot kind of thing? Or?
In a sense, but there's also a lot of rules that you can't. You got to make sure the family's image is always good. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure because I had a good amount of friends where trust fund babies, if you want to call them. Just definitely a lot of restriction with family money.
Oh, the shaman. Where did you guys find the shaman?
Shaman was my friend. is really good friends with Shaman Derek, and yeah, so it's just
Is
through
he a
mutual
real
friend.
shaman? I mean,
He is like the third or fourth generation. He's actually a really known shaman.
what is a shaman?
I guess they have special powers that gets passed on from from the other generations. It's supposedly passed down the genetic and the line, and they can read energy and they can tell you things. I don't know, but that was my first time.
Did it feel legit?
He hit some really good spots. One of the things he said was that I still remember nowadays. He says, Kelly, you like to walk on eggshells. You like to please other people before you take care of yourself. And that was so true because I didn't know how to say no. I feel horrible saying no. And I tend to, like, if I feel a certain way, I like to kind of dance around because I don't want to hurt any people's feelings. So some of the things he said was definitely on the nose.
Chrissy, could I be a shaman? Like on our Ask Next, do you think maybe I've like have some shaman in
Oh my
me?
God. I would love to have a shaman. You could be one. I would love to have one. A shaman, a psychic, anything. I love it.
do
all.
What's the difference between a shaman and a psychic?
I don't know.
Because I was
Maybe
watching
shaman reads more energy.
Right,
I was
right.
watching the
It-
shaman. I was like, that's like me without a bit. You know, I didn't have the. You know.
But what they did,
It's not though.
That's what I want to
They
know.
feel
What's the
different
difference?
energy.
I think it's energy. It was the weird thing they didn't show this part. Was when Kevin's turn to do the shaman thing. Kevin actually threw up. He kept throwing up. So that apparently was
Why?
that you're throwing up negative energy. And then Guy's husband was also there, and he didn't believe it. He didn't want to go, and then he went last. He's like he didn't believe it at all. He actually blacked out. And then when the shaman's like, move your left leg, he was moving, his body was moving, but then when he woke up he was like, well, what happened? And he was coughing, he was
I wish they
all
would
this
have
stuff.
shown more of that because what they kind of showed made it seem a little hinky. Almost.
Okay, I think they cut it pretty short. Yeah, they cut it pretty short. But I mean, all of us were going to really deep problems, or really, hard issues, talking about, Kevin's, abandonment issues, and because he was adopted, not knowing his birth parents, and King, how he needs to know more his power and getting, be his own individual with his family. And then Jamie comes on, and then, he's like, Jamie, you got to know your choices and know that the right choice is with inside you. Stop getting answers from everybody else. And Jamie's like, I know, the other day I was shopping for a bag. I don't know if I want to buy yellow or red. And we're just like, what? But that was the funniest
That
one.
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance? Because I know you weren't there. But did you get a chance to meet the PI who was helping find
I did
the
not.
families?
I was not involved in that storyline. I didn't know. I think I was too caught up with.
I was like, where
with
did they
Drew.
find this guy? Were you as amazed by how interesting he was in general?
Yeah, his character, his
Was he-
presence. I was
and
like,
he's a real PI.
I think so. I think it was a real PI. Like he needs to have his own show or something. Like
I would just find it amazing. Why is this? He was like he was like a PI, but also a therapist.
2 for 1.
He's like, I can find this, but do you really want to? Is
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
really want?
But
And
just so you know, he may not love you.
Yeah.
Right.
He may not give you the answers you're seeking.
yeah, and he's
I
gonna
can
want to
find
meet
him.
Kevin. And she's like,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
dating. He's gonna want to meet her anyway. Him anyways. I was like, how do you
He's
know?
your support.
yeah.
and he has a dyed goatee.
He was a character.
He was a true character. The PI, the shaman, and then there was the dance. Was it a yoga class?
Oh, the sexual yoga class.
It was. That was a lot of the.
On the mats that were like 2 mats put together that kept slipping, like they weren't yoga mats. That was like my favorite part.
Yeah, like the
of
non-main
situation.
characters, like the guest stars, if you will, were
Yeah.
all like, it's like, where are you finding all like what
It's
beautiful
amazing,
casting,
right? It's amazing. And then also Kim's mom, she was hilarious too.
yeah.
I'm like, Kimmy, you're gonna be the breakout star from this show.
Yeah.
Well,
she
it's
was amazing.
a lot of great characters on the show, which is why I'm assuming it's doing so well. There's really no boring personalities on the show,
Yeah.
so it is fun to watch. What else? I mean, before we play Do You Know Me and close this thing out, are there any things that have surprised you about the experience, or are there any misconceptions? Like, you mentioned a lot of people DMing you and things like that, and anything in terms of setting the record straight that you would want the people to know as they digest more of the show?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was really funny was, and then Kane got a lot of shit for it too. Was that he said that Kelly told me she likes anal, and I'm like, I've never said that in my life. And then so Kane's getting a lot. Kane's like, I was just kidding. I was like, Kane, my mom watched that. She's gonna look at you differently now next time she sees you.
How was Andrew with that?
He obviously apparently afterwards they had a pretty long conversation about that. When they were at dinner, but it got cut out. So
sure.
Yeah.
So you're here to let us know that you're not.
I never told Kane that.
Oh, she never told him that.
I know.
Okay.
Never told him that. She's not saying she doesn't like the back door. She's just saying she didn't tell anybody there was a key to it.
The funny thing was Kane was like, "You're a businesswoman. Maybe you could get some endorsement deal out of it." And then this morning, I got a email from a website that promotes sexual wellness. I don't know if that was the reason they emailed me, but
Could be,
and maybe there's something there.
Was it Adam and Eve?
Yeah. It was not. That one I know. That one I probably would do something with. It's like, hey, do I get free things? Okay.
Well, they are our sponsor of this episode, so watch
great.
out.
They are a sponsor of this episode. So
Can I give you my mailing address?
All right, before we let you go, Kelly.
I don't know this game. Can you explain to me?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
It's super easy.
Okay.
It's called Do You Know Me?
Nervous. Okay.
We're going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Does Kelly this? Does Kelly that? It's all across the board. Don't answer right away.
Okay.
We're going to guess the answer.
Okay.
You can say yes or no. If there's like a story behind your answer, feel free to share.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Okay.
We do endorse
Sharing.
that.
Okay.
So it's up to you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Do you know me with Kelly Me Lee?
Okay.
Question number 1. Has Kelly ever asked someone out on a date by sliding into their DMs? Has Kelly ever asked someone on a date by sliding into their DMs? I feel like Kelly is rather traditional in the dating space. Likes a man who's going to pursue her. I think she would, but at the same time, she's this entrepreneur, successful woman, and to be an entrepreneur, you have to take risks. You got to put yourself out there. I'm going to say she has.
I don't think. I'm going to say no.
She has.
I don't think she would unless it's like a Mark Cuban.
She has DM'd a guy. Well, maybe not saying I want to go on a date with you, but she has DM'd a guy for the purposes of liking their face. It wasn't even if she tried to position it as like a networking thing. She really just she was like, I think you're cute.
I don't think so. I disagree. I think she would always slide into the DMs. Maybe she would respond to somebody sliding into hers, but I don't
that's not
think
the
she's
question.
sliding.
I'm going to say she made the first move.
I'm just saying. I don't think she's done it.
Okay, so I don't know the right answer for this. So the only person I kind of DM'd was after I met Drew. I sent him a DM. We actually exchanged numbers at the first time we met, but I did send a DM to him right after we met. Just like
before he reached out to you.
Before he reached out to me. So does
like
that count?
I feel like that counts. I feel like that counts.
So
whatever.
Chrissy's like, I don't care. Whatever.
Question number 2. Has Kelly ever fired a gun? Has Kelly ever fired a gun?
Yes.
And not a BB gun.
No, I have this dream of her on a estate in France with Anna, like
wearing couture, shooting ski.
Yeah, I feel like Kelly's fired a gun. Sure, why not?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, shooting range. I have not shot a gun with Anna in Paris in our couture and high heels.
Would be magical.
That'd be fun, right?
Has Kelly ever shopped at a thrift store?
100%.
Okay. I mean, wow. Sure. Ever.
I'm trying to think. I definitely been in a thrift store because I like to find pieces that's like unique and vintage, but I don't know if I bought anything from there.
But you shop.
I've definitely been inside one.
Does Kelly own any sex toys?
Yes. She just said Adam and Eve send me a whole package. So I'm going to go with yes, and good for her.
I think every woman should have sex toys. I'm sorry. They should.
Yes.
Like, why? Why not?
Don't apologize.
Yes.
What's that promo code for Adam and Eve? Viall? Anyone?
Viall, Adam and Eve.
You guys
should have the travel size. They should have the regular size. Everyone should have.
You can get Drew a fleshlight.
She doesn't need a fleshlight.
Yeah, maybe they'll calm him down.
It's for men.
Anytime Drew gets...
I don't know what a flashlight is.
It's That's why she should get.
Flashlight.
Yeah. So it's.
Oh, do you use a flashlight as a? I don't get it.
It basically is supposed. It's like getting a blowjob, right? Is it not?
Yeah, it's a fleshlight, so it's like you put your penis into the.
Oh, okay.
Into the
I've
tube.
only heard the banana thing. I've never heard a flashlight thing.
So anytime Drew gets a little worked up, just hand him the.
He has me. Why does he need a flashlight?
Well, if he's being really mean
It's a
to you, maybe.
fleshlight.
You never had angry sex?
Well, sure.
No, angry sex is
Not
good
when
sex.
not when they're screaming at me.
Maybe make it more hot. I don't know.
Has Kelly ever slept with a coworker
Mm,
that you weren't married? Like if you worked with your husband, or it has to. Yeah, that doesn't count. Well, she's the boss,
yeah, no.
No.
I think I have when I was really young, like when I was like
Good for
in my
you.
early 20s. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Has Kelly ever peed her pants?
I mean, what age range are we talking here?
Yeah,
'Cause
right,
I think
like-
every person has peed
As
their
an
pants
adult.
at some point in the kids.
As an adult.
As an adult, like, is she laughing and peeing her pants? Does that count?
Have I peed my
I've
pants as
seen
an
it.
adult? I don't think I have.
I think like I peed a little bit once when I was like laughing so hard.
Yeah, no, I like definitely had as a kid. I mean, for sure, I had
Yeah.
a laughing pee.
I'm gonna say no. She looks too classy to pee her pants.
I don't think class has anything to do with it. I'm gonna say yes, just for fun.
I've never peed in my pants.
Okay.
Not even with a good laugh.
No,
out here, girl,
I
by
don't know
myself.
why.
Has Kelly ever shoplifted?
Oh
Yes.
no.
Never shoplifted.
Never.
No,
Never.
never. Just buy it. Why do you have to shoplift? I'm
That's true.
kidding.
What am I talking
Gosh,
about?
we're talking
That's what-
$168 million over here, Nick. What is she shoplifting?
That's what credit cards are for.
Although, there are those people that do like the gum.
Oh, that's
for the
right.
thrill of it.
For the
Or the
bar of
lipstick
store
or
and stuff,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Winona
like it
Ryder.
says like take one. You're like, I'll take 3.
I'm too much a wuss.
Yeah.
I'm too much a wuss. I don't think so. I don't think I'll ever do it.
Yeah.
Does Kelly know the exact count of her Instagram following? Hard for Kelly because
Yes.
it's on the up. It's on the up.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, she knows.
I don't know if it's true. I think I was at
Within the 1,000.
Hold on.
222 yesterday. So,
222.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was 222.
Let's see.
226. Okay, I was 4K off.
Oh,
So I
close.
guess not.
Check back in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully after this show, it will be doubled.
Oh, it's gonna more than double. Kelly, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
This
you
has
so
been
much.
A ton of fun. Where can the people find you on all things social?
I can only manage my Instagram, which is Kelly Mealy. Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff coming soon.
You don't have any of those?
I have the count, but I can't. It's too much. I can barely keep up with Instagram. Barely.
And if there were to be a season 2 of Bling Empire, when do you think that might happen? Are we gonna have to wait because you guys filmed this 2 years ago?
We filmed, hopefully this year, but it really depends on COVID. Just because I love these like big parties that we throw, and with COVID, it's gonna be really difficult. So hopefully COVID gets settled and we can shoot this year.
Okay. Well, it's
So-
been lovely. Make sure to check out Kelly on Instagram. Check out Bling Empire, now streaming on Netflix. Best of luck to you and
Thank
Drew.
you so much. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Chrissy.
I hope he's turned the corner.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're doing really good. Maybe next time we'll have him here so he can tell his version of the story.
Well, that would be something.
Don't get Nick excited.
We really appreciate it, Kelly. It's been a lot of fun, and congratulations on all the success of
Thank you
Bling
so much.
Empire, and can't wait to see more of it.
Thank you, guys. So fun.
Thanks so much, guys, for listening. Don't forget to send your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. Subscribe, 5 stars, all that fun stuff. We will see you back on Monday.